It says live.
Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you'd type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Hello, Ola Adam.
Hola, Tom.
All right, Adam and I do this weekly. We skipped last week, and neither of us have a good excuse. Do you have a good excuse, Adam? I don't.
I was sleeping. It was the first opportunity in a month.
And I think Hannah was what on Friday. I think she was off on Friday, so I was a little distracted.
Yeah, I think
So,
you were zooing it.
oh, is that right? Yeah, I was with at the Bronx Zoo. Uh, so, anyways, we Adam and I has this restriction as in his industry where he has limitations on the selling he can do. This program of getting people out of debt is a good service for people who choose to do it. When they get sold into this program, it has disastrous effects. So the kind regulators in this country, state by state, have put certain restrictions, and one of them is the way Adam can advertise. But this is kind of a happy little chat between Tom Duty, Adam's middle-aged receptionist, and Adam, the jefe boss of this business in Arizona. So I will introduce who Adam is and do contact information at the end. So part of it is in front, but the more detailed website and phone number will be at the end. It's also in the text attached to this video. But in short, Adam is a founding partner of Financial Rescuers. The service center is in Tempe, Arizona, very near his home. There goes Alessandro. Say hola, Alessandro.
Hola, Alejandro.
Alejandro. So,
Muy limpia.
so the attorney who's a partner with Adam is in Pennsylvania. So, middle-aged receptionist, New Jersey, Adam Service Center in Tempe, and the licensed attorney in Pennsylvania. So, Adam, I think it's crystal clear what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to test you, though. What do you think it's going to be?
Credit card debt?
Yeah, but more specifically,
Today, I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Miss Win?
what? No, your clients this week have been, I think, like 100% credit score.
Yes.
You had one fellow that called, I think, from Pennsylvania, who had, he was a pretty fresh graduate. He still had everything on his credit report, and that might not be true. You can comment. And then the other fellow is a more recent one in Florida, who still, after a significant period of time, has an HSBC on his credit report. So why don't you pick up there, Adam?
Yes. Well, yeah, this has been a week where a few clients are complaining about something they knew about when they signed, but somewhere in the wonderful process they forgot. And that is that, yes, your credit takes a hit for a while when you get in our program. Now, the gentleman in Florida you speak of, who still has an HSBC outstanding, does still have an HSBC. It is being negotiated. It is his final debt, and once done, he is complete. He's not complaining about his score, mind you, just about the fact that there's still a collection account on his report. The other gentleman in Philadelphia actually made a big mistake. All of it has been corrected on his report. He was looking at an old report.
Really? I thought he had just gotten it online.
No.
Tell me more. How did that happen?
He went back to the person who originally brought him to us, and that person pulled out his old credit report and handed it to him. They didn't run a new one.
And literally, it's just a matter of getting a fresh report, and all of it was gone.
Well, just about, yeah. There's one or two little things, but they weren't in our program, so it's not our responsibility.
So, Adam, talk about. Okay, so there's two clients, both the same subject. I think there's the HSBC client. I think there's nothing else to talk about, right? Because I think the
No, we've supplied all the settlement letters and proof of payment
okay,
on every debt except the one HSBC, and we are negotiating that as we speak.
okay. So let's move to the Pennsylvania client. As I remember, it was his and her debt, his, hers, and theirs, and he had, I think, four accounts One was a little strange though. It had this a, a court judgment that was like his mother for back rent or something.
Yes, they're not Philadelphia, by the way. They're New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And
Um,
what happened was the landlord of the apartment that his mother rented did not know the mother's name but remembered his. And so when they went down to get their judgment, they put his name on it. This is an illegal judgment. It is being challenged in court and should be removed.
oh, so they put the so it is a judgment. It's not just a credit report error. There is a judgment in his
There
name.
is a judgment in the New Jersey township in his name
Oh
for a
shit.
debt that it was never his.
Uh,
And we have a letter from the creditor stating it was not his.
okay, this has to do with his credit report. It has nothing to do with the services you were giving him. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so switch to the ones that are yours. Um,
We settled all but one. One did not need to be settled. It ran the statute of limitations, which means that the client saved money not having to pay it.
okay, what do you
But
mean?
they have to be aware that just because it cannot be collected anymore does not mean that it comes off the credit report.
So what do you mean the client saves money? I mean that's
The
vague. The
client
client.
saves money. If you enroll a $5,000 credit card, say Capital One or Chase or Citi, and it goes the statute of limitations, you never need to repay a dime of it. There's no legal grounds for collection on that account anymore. They cannot sue you for it. They cannot collect it. You cannot be garnished or levied. However, they're allowed to keep reporting it for up to 7 years on
Yeah,
your credit
the
report.
client's saving money. So what, do they get money back? What happens?
Yes,
So the money set aside in their escrow that was
for
planned.
that debt is returned to them.
Okay. So did that client get that money and aware that
Yes, their program was shortened by 4 months.
really,
Really?
which he probably forgot to tell your middle-aged receptionist about.
Well, he wouldn't even know about it. His wife handled everything, not him. It's the first time he's ever dialed our number.
Yeah, he did say that. He wanted to be clear that I probably didn't know him. I knew his wife, and in my case, both of them were new to me. But so that's news to me, Adam. If you don't need the money in their client reserves, the client gets it back.
Only if it runs the statute of limitations.
Say more.
Well, the statute of limitations is different in every state. For instance, in New York, it's 6 years. So if we're handling your account for 6 years, or your account is more than 6 years old without a payment, there is no legal ground under which the creditor can get their money. They're not allowed to go to court for it. They're allowed to politely request it in writing. In other words, they can mail you a letter saying, you still owe this. Would you like to pay it? But they
Right.
can't make you pay it.
Or if you die, they can go after your.
No, they cannot go after your estate. They
No,
have
but
no
I
legal
mean that
grounds.
that sleazy business where they solicit payment from the surviving people out of
Yeah, they can try to do that, but legally, if they get payment, they can be sued and all of it can be returned.
because they say things. I've heard those pitches. They say things like, "Don't you want to leave your loving father's name in good standing?"
No, my
No,
dad was a deadbeat.
no. If he didn't do it when he was alive, I'm not doing it when he's dead.
Exactly.
So Adam, give me more detail on the New Jersey couple. Uh, the the ones that or were allegedly on the credit report, but it was falsely reported, are what and how much roughly?
Oh, there's three of them. There's a Capital One for about $1,200.
Uh huh.
There's that wonderful illegal judgment, and there was a store card of some kind for about $700.
Okay, so one of them, with an agreement with the wife, unbeknownst to husband, you had, she had accepted. They're not going to demand the money from me now or ever. I just have to suffer with it on my credit report. She agreed. It was a strategy you chose. So, what does it mean to him and wife for, first of all, was it a joint credit report or just his? I thought it was just his.
This one is just his. His wife had a separate program.
Okay, but so just what I want you to do is talk about this couple because financially they sort of sounded ordinary. You got about the
They
amount of
are ordinary, but they're looking to buy a house. They just had twins last year, or actually 2 years ago.
okay.
So
So
they're
do
looking to
what?
move into a bigger house.
So go back to the beginning. They're making how much money? They got how much debt? You did it in how much time? Just give a like a
In
baseball
three
card
years,
summary.
we eliminated about 43,000 in debt for both husband and wife.
So wait, what does that mean? In total, they enrolled how much?
A little over 40,000.
And that you to give me that number, you're combining programs.
Yes.
So they had no joint debt.
No. Her debt was
Wow.
in her name. His debt was in his name.
Okay. So I'm sorry. No. So together it was how much?
Around 40,000.
And just roughly, who'd they owe, what kind of debts, and how much? Like, what was their
Oh,
biggest
they
one?
owed, the biggest one was probably Chase. They owed 11,000 to Chase.
And that was an ordinary credit card.
Yep. Chase Slate card.
Uh-huh. And the biggest one in that
I
situation,
think the Slate is what they hit you with when you don't make a payment.
right? So when these the biggest ones, if you were to dial the clock back, that the biggest ones are usually the one that has always been the biggest. Am I correct?
Usually, but not always.
Right. But as
You know,
they're in
they
this,
have a habit of piling on interest and penalties when you go delinquent that just make the debt impossible for most poor people to ever pay.
right. So in this case, financially, this couple seems to be functioning. They both have jobs. Each of them has a job, right?
They do.
And Adam, forgive me, I forgot the total debt amount. How much?
40.
40. So you got 40 between a couple, and they're in a program of what length?
Between the two of them, 4 years.
So you have 4 years. And they're going to be ready to buy a house. Cross your fingers. When?
Well, they were actually ready last summer, but the closing fell through. They were approved last summer despite these little black marks on the credit report.
Really? Say more about
Yes.
that.
Well, we provided them a letter on the law firm's letterhead stating that these items were already in dispute and are being mediated. And the broker agreed that that was good enough for him to proceed with the loan.
Okay. So, Adam, I don't want to do Dr. Phil here, but there's a few things in this profile that these couples kind of not talking to each other. But this is a happy house, right? They're gonna.
Oh, they're a very happy house. I just got to
Yeah,
get
I
a hold
thought
of
so.
David again on Monday.
So, this
They love us.
this is yeah. That was very clear. Uh, I told him that I said Adam's very popular. I said especially with the women, and he said yes, I know that.
And he's never even met me.
I know, but he knows his wife likes you.
That's because she's so sweet.
Anyways, Adam, this is clearly a success story. You got a couple 4 years ago. They got 40,000 in credit card debt. It was you didn't do the rest of the breakdown, but it was predominantly credit card debt, right?
It was almost all credit card
Yeah.
debt.
So you got 40,000 in credit card. You got 4 years later, they're ready to buy a house.
Yes.
That's
And
awesome.
upon buying the house, their credit will skyrocket.
Y- Meaning what? Who cares? Once they buy it, who cares about their credit?
They do. Because the next thing they're going to need is a bigger car with four-person family.
Oh, sure, sure.
And then the kids eventually will turn 16 and want cars of their own.
All right, so let's break down the success. They have obviously kept their jobs, or maybe even gotten better, higher paying jobs along the
Yes.
way, right? They haven't had
Yes.
additional hardship, which can be disastrous.
No. Part of Financial Rescuer's tagline on our website is debt resolution and credit education. We don't have clients that fall back into debt.
Right.
We consider it part of our job to make sure they understand how they got where they were in the first place so that they don't get there again.
and at the same time, you don't educate them to stay out of debt, take debt, use
Oh,
them
no, no, no.
responsibly.
We want them to go and get 1 or 2 credit cards, but to use them wisely.
Right.
One should be for times when you don't have the money but will at the end of the week, and the other should only be for emergencies or travel.
Right. Yeah.
Avoid highway plastic whenever possible.
What do you mean highway plastic?
Highway plastic, that's the road you take when you use your plastic to pay for something.
Okay. So, all right, let's. I forgot about our Orange County, California client who was very high
Another
maintenance for a
success
short.
story.
She was very high maintenance for a short period of time, but she seemed to calm down. Obviously, you did something good for her.
Well, you know what we did for her. She had a judgment pending, and we settled it for just about half of what was owed, and now it is a dropped court case.
Right. So, how is it that you got a client? She had two debts. One of them was already in judgment. She was obviously delinquent on both before she came your client, right?
She had both debts before she became our client. She was enrolled in, and I'm going to put this nicely, another type of debt resolution company.
All right. This is something I suspected. So wait a minute. Let's before we do too much on that. I forgot a characteristic of the New Jersey couple. They were probably current when they started, right?
No, they were slightly delinquent.
Slightly delinquent and current is sort of slightly the same thing.
Well, no, 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 no. David, I'll use his first name. David from the New Jersey couple was out of work and on unemployment. So they had just fallen behind.
Oh, okay. But then he obviously got a job, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So they had a pretty clean start compared to Miss Orange County.
Miss Orange County was directed to stop paying her creditors by another firm, which is illegal. That firm then continued to do nothing but collect money from her and never did a single thing about any of her debts. She has a judgment against her and a second one that was pending that we settled for her. We
Right.
are trying to rectify the other judgment, but that's going to take a while because it's a rather large figure.
Well, why can't they got a judgment? Why can't they get her? Why can't they do aggressive collection and take it?
Well, they have to find her for that. She works in a cash job. There's no
Right.
W
Right.
2.
Okay. She's under the radar.
Well, yes, it's just not a W 2 position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether or not it's legal, whether she's paid on a contract or she's just paid in such a way that they can't find her on payroll. So there's
Okay.
nothing to garnish. Her bank account, well, I don't want to make it easier for the garnishers to find her. So I'm not going to say any more, but
She's
suffice it to say
there's
she
a
has a
billion
name that's
strategies you can do to stay under the radar, but certainly.
yes, but she's pretty safe because of her name and the way it's spelled and the way it's pronounced and the fact that they can't figure out the difference between the two.
So what about uh, why does she care?
Why does she care? Because it's still a judgment against her, and if she ever upgrades into a W-2 position where her social gets given out, she will get garnished.
Okay, so the answer is why does she care? Well, right now she has reason not to care, but she cares because she cares about getting
Her
back
future,
on the map. Right, right, right.
getting back on the map or buying a vehicle or renting an apartment or buying a house or even getting a job. Sometimes they now, which is ludicrous in my opinion, but a lot of companies now run your credit before they'll hire you for a job that has nothing to do with money.
Yeah, of course. Um,
I don't know what your credit score has to do with being a mailroom file clerk, but they'll run it, and if it's too low, they'll tell you they're not hiring you because your credit score is too low.
Adam, but we'd have to change the name of this phone call if I let you rant about all the things they do in pre-employment screening, like Facebook profiles. Don't get started.
I don't have time to get started. I have about 3 minutes left.
So, Adam, now do the take it from the top. She gets scammed by this other company. She goes delinquent. How much time did she burn into that? How
Two
much debt did,
years.
so then how much debt did she have, and when is she going to get back in the game?
Well, $34,000 worth of debt. Uh, 13,000 was moved to our company. The rest still sits with the company that's doing nothing. So there's probably more lawsuits to come.
Oh,
She's still
this was the throw the single account out when they get sued system.
exactly.
Ah, right, right. I know
All
those.
I have to say to you for you to understand, the crowd won't, is that Carol sent me this
Yeah,
client.
yeah, it sounded familiar. So, Adam, the uh, the work you're doing for her, she's got judgments. This is messy by some people's description. You've figured out how to.
We
Uh,
don't find it messy. We just find it a little more difficult.
so, with the troubles that you have, who else does it? Does anyone else that you know of uh, get involved in these messes to the good of the client?
I
These and
think
when I
there are,
wait, Adam, and these
I
messes
only have 3 minutes, Tom.
meaning debt with judgments. Are you the only one
I
doing
was
it that you
about
know of?
I was about to explain this. As far as I know, there are approximately 3 debt resolution firms out there that will accept judgments into the program. I
Okay.
am one of them. We are big enough and well known enough with most of the law firms, collection firms in the country that we can get a very reasonable deal on a judgment with most of them.
You really think there's only 3 companies doing it? 2 others?
We work with a nationwide law firm that is the industry standard law firm. They work with every debt settling company out there, and only 3 that they know of accept judgments.
You've done some of them where the degree of difficulty really isn't higher than without a judgment. It might.
Well, that's pure luck.
So sometimes they are harder.
Well, take a look at, we have a Pennsylvania woman who's very much like the California woman.
Uh huh.
And she has no job. She's living on a relative's couch. We offered to settle for 80% of the debt amount, and they said no, 100% or nothing, and hung up. They
Okay.
hold a judgment, and for the next 10 years, if she should come on the map, they will garnish her butt off.
Right. Right.
They will not settle. So it is harder with a judgment because they have all the cards.
All right.
They
So
can garnish, they can levy, they can lien.
all right, Adam, I want to keep you online. I want to just cover this credit card debt talk itself and some of the things I learned this week about
I do
Google. And
this quick because my ride is waiting out front.
I understand. I'll introduce. I'll do the contact info after you say ciao. But Adam, what I discovered this week is if you do a Google search for credit card debt and you filter it for freshness, so you're not just doing credit card debt. You say I want fresh videos, which is a filtering feature of YouTube, and it's not used by everyone, but it's used by some people. If that's done, our one of our credit card debt talks appears on the first page and another one appears on the second page. And so the system that we've established doing this weekly, we potentially can increase our rankings and in time like have one of these on every page.
I don't
Now
mind.
now getting to the top of unfiltered, in other words, credit card debt search without filtering for age, I can't find us anywhere. So I still haven't figured out how to get our rankings up in that area. But no
I'm
doubt,
not so worried because I think once a person who's interested in this hears one of these chats, they'll want to come back and check for new ones.
yeah. So, anyways, with that, Adam will say ciao, que tengo un buen fin de semana. Ciao.
Buen fin
Adios.
de semana. Ciao.
All right. Adam is founding partner of Financial Rescuers. I am middle-aged receptionist because of the time zone where I am, and my relationship with Adam, both in a friendship and a professional relationship, allows me to answer his phone 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, and those are the earlier hours in Arizona. So no one in Arizona has to answer the phone at um, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's been working very well now for about 10 months, doesn't show any signs of stopping. So I'm ongoing middle-aged receptionist for Adam, 8 hours a week. His business is in Arizona. He employs a handful of people. and their website is financialrescuers.com. This detail is in the text attached to this YouTube video. And the phone number that I answer 8 hours a week, and the staff in Arizona answers the rest of the time, the rest of the business hours, is 866 516 1985. So I will do my howdy doody wrap up and say ciao after I repeat the web address and the phone number. Again, the web address is financialrescuers.com, and the toll free number is 866 516 1985. This has been Tom Duty, middle aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.